reverse some of the shocks. There was a reversal of there were many shocks when you took over. By then we were from COVID-19, the pandemic, which has eaten into our economy. We were even financing the fuel with what? With money from the National Treasury. And the president said, no, let us go to G2G. We were financing to buy fertilizer for our people. And he said what? Let us reduce the price for fertilizer and finance the production part of it. Then when once production increases, even the inflation goes down and the economy grows. That is the snapshot I wanted to bring. So for us to achieve the plan, he started working on economic stabilization, and that's why we have achieved this. Back to the education. We have recruited 76,000 teachers. This is happening for the first time in the history of Kenya, that 76,000 teachers have been recruited. And the shortage was 100,000. We are falling short of 24,000 just in 3 years. Look at the teacher-student ratio, reduced from 1 to 45, one teacher for 45 students to 1 teacher against 29 students. TVET enrollment doubled from 341 to 781, and that is where the technical skills are, and that's where the employment is. Looking at the university funding, increased from 45 billion to 82 billion. That is why you have numbers here reading as 23,147 students are funded in the year 2024-2025 because of increase in funding our universities. Looking at the student model, the student funding model that we have currently is learner-centered. It's not, we used to have a model that was not touching the Kenyan. Now we have a model that is talking about all Kenyans with along all walks of life. Even those in the villages are now getting that funding at a certain level, at a level that's required. Because we used to have everyone getting at one level, but now we have levels depending on the levels of incomes per household. 160,000 laboratories under construction through CBC program, and we also managed to achieve 99% transition under secondary education. Infrastructure, Dagar mentioned about infrastructure fund, that was 5 trillion. That 5 trillion will be used to construct 28,000 kilometers of road. We have a number of, just to highlight a few, is dualling of key highways, including Ironi, Naivasha Nakuru, Mau Summit, which is 170 kilometers, and Ironi, Maimayu, Naivasha, 558 kilometers, and more corridors that are being opened up. So these are just a few of the areas that we are trying to develop in terms of road infrastructure. The financing, as Mohammed said, is called Infrastructure Fund, which is 5 billion. That is not a loan. This is money that is coming from our own sources. Ports and aviation, upgrading of Mombasa and Lamu ports, JKIA. We want to have a new look TIA, whereby ukiingia, you'll find that uko London ama uko Dubai. Sio mambo ya kuingia kwa JKIA airport ambacho ikachana 1979. Water infrastructure, 2 dams completed, and we have a number of 135 water pumps built. Takwe is 95% in completion, and the other dams are also ongoing, such as Mwache and the rest. Move, please, because of time. We'll not have time to discuss much. In terms of digital superhighway, we have embodied over 22,500 services, which are now up, live, digitally. You can connect that service at the comfort of your room. Whereby, in 2022, we had only 353. And in terms of digital space, Kenya has actually improved and even improved its revenue in that line, whereby we are creating now 6.7 billion in terms of revenue. This is a great boost, and this is growth in terms of our revenues that we were discussing and saying that once the economy grows, we have increase in revenue, which is attributed to some of the policies that we have initiated. Digital economic connectivity, we have connected over 24,000 kilometers of optic fiber cable rolled out nationwide. So hii fiber iko Kenya nzima tunaenda, and it is almost 24,000 kilometers. Digital skills, 316 digital hubs completed. I think a number of you parliamentarians are working hand in hand with the Ministry of ICT in this one. So we have four ongoing, and 20,000 plus devices distributed, 1.8 million youth trained on various elements, creating over 3,000 jobs through Ajira and business training opportunities and gig economy. In terms of tech innovation, Konza has been actually, Konza is becoming a major technological hub and a manufacturing hub under the Konza government. Public internet, almost 1,578 public Wi-Fi hotspots installed across markets and public spaces. In creative industry support, studio machinani increased from 229 when you took over. Now we are at 834. Over 1,700 students trained in mass media skills just to improve on Ajira skills. Then lastly, I'll go to the women achievement agenda, whereby we have seen expansion in women empowerment programs and inclusion in leadership. As a quick example is here, we have a number of our women in leadership. Unlike before, where the president, where the government used to actually sideline women, now the government has made a deliberate effort to include women in top positions in this in top leadership positions in this country. Then we have also established a presidential working group on GBV, which was commissioned the other day by the president. We have also implemented a number of anti-FGM initiatives. This is all to have to include women in various development programs and agenda. Lastly, number 9, we have environment and climate change. We hosted AU Africa Climate Summit, which was, and also we are now bidding for UNFCCC and climate. We also, no, we hosted AU Africa Summit in 2024. It was hosted in Nairobi at KICC. This is an initiative, it's a presidential initiative to actually showcase that ambassadorial role he has taken in terms of climate change. Now, in terms of trees planted, we have planted over 1.6 billion trees. Climate works, we have engaged youth, more than 100,000 youth, on restoring the ecosystem across the country, such as in Nairobi River. We have spent over 45 billion in improving the sanitation, biodiversity, and green spaces along Nairobi. Social protection, this is a space that was lying idle when we took over, and then now we have registered over 1 million beneficiaries with 30 billion annually. This is done through mobile phones. These people are receiving their money at the comfort of their homes. They don't have to queue and get the money. This money is sent electronically to their phones. The coverage has increased by 66%. This is targeting elders who are above 70 years of age, with the number increasing from 733 to 1.2 million. And I think you need to update this, or supposed to be updated. This figure is it's quite low. PWD inclusion, 34. Which one? Okay. PWD inclusion, 34% increase in registered persons with disabilities from 44,000 to 59,000. Data and privacy, we have improved systems and grievances platforms. In terms of services economy, today we have increased the services from 128 to 152 citizen serving centers, which is now estimated to raise up to from 12.5 to 13.5 million. In terms of e-citizen services, we have moved from 394 to 2,000, plus 13.5 million registered accounts, with monthly revenue moving from 1.4 billion when you took over. Currently, we are at 8.2. I think this one also needs to be updated. It's not correct. The correct figure should be above 8 billion. Impact that this has caused, it has actually saved us on time. And time is money. And when you save time, you increase the aggregate production. Okay, the last slide here is now coastal projects that we have implemented around the coast. In Mombasa alone, we have invested 36.4 billion. This is money, 36.4 billion. This is money, not stones. We have invested in Mombasa County. And this is happening under Kenya Kwanza regime. These funds were actually targeting affordable housing programs, student accommodation, police housing, and markets across. This project status mix of awarded, some of them ongoing, mobilization and planned projects. The impact that this has had is that the expansion of housing and educational facilities in Mombasa and markets access, enhancing community infrastructure and social services. So in Mombasa alone, we have invested 36.4 billion. Move to another county, Kwale, 10 billion. Kilifi, 24 billion. Lamu, 5 billion. Tana River, 4.6. Taita, 9.8 billion. So in a nutshell, the government has dedicated to serve the Coastarians. So what are we giving the president? The commitment we are giving the president is that we are a two-term fellows. We are two-term fellows. Nothing to negotiate about. I know as you don't want me to comment that, but I'll comment. We are two-term fellows, that's it, period. Because all this money that is coming down here, we have no right to say one term. Let others say one term, that is them. Because you have no problem with them. Let them say it, but it is because that share that used to go there has actually been moved this side. And that's why people are saying one term. So for you to say one term, what makes you say one term? People are complaining that you have been given a specific share that you are not entitled to. And that's why people are boycotting and demonstrating across, saying that we need these people, we need this government to run for one term. But now, that share has been moved this side. So for you to say one term, you must give us a clear, cut-edge reason as to why we are saying one term. So I want to end it here. I want to say thank you so much for your attention, and I wish you well. Thank you.
You must give a round of applause to our three PSs. I think that was a very insightful presentation, coordinated by all of them. Idris, just to emphasize, we did not take anyone's share. We were simply inclusive. We have simply ensured that everybody gets their share. Zamani ilikuwa ikipelekwa mahali pamoja, sasa tunapeleka kila pembe ya taifa la Kenya, so that there is equity in development and inclusivity in development. Now, second, I've been advised we will give the DPL some minutes to make some interventions. Then we will give majority leader, for the purposes of him being here, is majority leader because the other one is not here. So we'll give the majority leader also a few minutes. Then we'll open up and hope by Maghrib we'll have covered some ground. If not, we are advised to come back for another 40 minutes. Usually, tunazungumza baada ya Maghrib, sio? Lakini leo tumeanza kabla Maghrib, so we have some tons of time after Maghrib to say one or two things in terms of interventions. And when we are seated at Iftar, we will request you one after another to take the microphone to just introduce who you are so that we save on time. Otherwise, tukipatia kila mtu dakika moja hapa, it will be about an hour. So as you are seated there, utapata microphone, utasema mimi ni Owen Baya, mimi nilikuwa mbunge wa Kilifi South na naendelea kuwa mbunge, na sasa mimi ni kiongozi wa wengi ndani ya bunge la Kenya. So Deputy Party Leader, His Excellency, it's the other way around. Baya is a man of protocol. He wants to say something as Majority Leader representing the members of Parliament here. Njoo ndugu yangu.
Asante sana, SG. I just want to say a few things. One, when I joined Parliament in 2017, there was a chairman of committee. His name was Koinange. He used to be the chairman of administration. And he was my friend. But he came from a region which was heavily, he was MP for Kiamba, I think. Kiamba. Now, Koinange, when he died, unfortunately he died, I discovered something when the new chairman took over. He said, you know, Mimi na wewe Owen, we were relying on CDF of 100 million, or 95 million thereabout. But he had his 95 million, but he had 5 billion shillings in his constituency for development. Why am I telling you this? Because he belonged to government then. And Uhuru Kenyatta was his closest friend, but that's why he was chairman of administration. So he had programs and projects in his constituency worth 5 billion. Now, na mimi niko ni mbunge kama yeye na nina struggle na 95 million. That time we were in parliament with Kina Aisha, who else was there in 12th parliament? Yes, Alimbogo there. We were struggling with our 95 million to try to bring development. Jamaa ako na 95, alafu ako na 5 billion. Then nikasema kumbe kuwa ndani ya serikali unafaidisha watu wako. And this is a problem that we have been, as a people from the coast, we have been developing on the minimum, the one that is available for everyone. But people, when they belong to government, have extra, and they move faster than the others. And that is why I want to tell all of us here, it is very important that we remain not only in this government, but in the next government. If we do that, the development here that we have missed for the last 40 years, we can recoup that in the next 5 years. But we just need to make a decision to take this coast region and put it in government. The second thing that I want to say, in the 13th parliament when we started, we struggled with numbers, and Hassan, SG, you know that. We struggled with numbers. There was this debate, who was majority and who was minority. And it took a lot of ingenuity, I want to use that word, a lot of ingenuity for one to be declared majority and the other minority. We almost missed that. We almost missed that. But when we had a discussion, we said which region actually almost denied us to be majority. And when we fingered regions, Coast region was one of them. Because those that were in UDA and Kenya Kwanza were very few. And we had given the other side more members of parliament than the Kenya Kwanza. And we got into a quagmire. A very serious quagmire, who was majority, who was minority. This time, and I want to implore on you, this time, when the numbers of who is majority, who is not majority, Coast should contribute the most in parliament of the majority. Of the majority. So that when it comes to issues that matter to us as people of the coast, we are able to push that agenda. I want to give you an example, and I, with a lot of respect. If you look at the chairmanship of committees in the House, I sit there and we make decisions. And this is where numbers matter. And I want to tell you, this is where numbers matter. When now we are appointing chairpersons and vice chairpersons of committees in the National Assembly, those committees that people are chairman and vice chairman, they distribute resources. Parliament is a budget-making house, especially National Assembly is the budget-making house. When we are making budget, the chairman of the committee makes certain decision. Huyu waziri Mvurya tunamuita, tunamuuliza maswali, anataka pesa tutampatia ama tumdeny. But as the chairman sits there, anasema sasa hii pesa tukidistribute, for example transport, mimi kama chairman, kuna hii lazima nipate. You know, these are things that happen in parliament and we have to be truthful. Those areas will develop more than those areas that do not have chairmen in committees. Now I want to ask you this question. How many chairmen do we have in Coast? How many do we have? No, chairman of committees from Coast. How many do we have? Haika? And, but Kenchonga came in through broad-based. But as a region, since we started parliament, the 13th parliament, we have only one chairman. There is a region which has more than 20. Because they were given that because they brought the votes. They brought the vote. So there is an advantage of sending to parliament members of parliament that belong to the ruling party. There is an advantage. And I remember another time my boss Ichungu and I had a small quarrel because I was saying, huyu Tandaza lazima apate chairmanship. Ako wapi Tandaza? Hapo. Tandaza had lobbied. Akasukuma, na mimi nikamsukuma nikasema Tandaza lazima apate chairmanship. But then we came down to the numbers. Kwani kwale wameleta kura ngapi mpaka wapate chairman? You know? Haika survived because of gender. You know? She would not have survived. Yes. Then when it comes to the commission, we gave Moha and Amanda Nayo. You know, I had said that Faisal needs to become a member of the commission, but I tried nikasukuma lakini nikaambiwa paka uende kotini. And I could not survive. We could not survive. So what am I saying? I'm saying, as we go out there, my friends, even when we need to appoint members of boards, parastatal heads, parastatal chairpersons, and all that, you know, it comes back to sometimes, chairman anasemaje? Chairman anasukuma nani? So the second point I want to make, as we go out there, we need to ensure that all the members of parliament, and I will say this without fear of any contradiction, all members of parliament from this region must come from the UDA party so that we can control resources. We can control resources. Without that, you know, there's a committee in parliament called Liaison. I want to say a few things about parliament because that is where I belong, and that's why I think Omar gave me this opportunity. There's a committee called Liaison Committee. Liaison Committee is the committee of all chairmen in parliament. All chairmen, they sit in that liaison committee. When they sit there, when you do all the budget and finish, that budget will be taken to the liaison committee. And the liaison committee will make certain recommendations and decisions before it is tabled in the House. And every chairman will have his say and push his agenda. So if we only have 2 chairmen in that committee, only 2 chairpersons. This is the only region that has only 2. And this is a sad state of affairs. So I want us to look at that as we go home and we think about the whole electioneering period. We need to empower us in parliament by giving us UDA members of parliament in the region so that we can push our agenda. The last point I want to make is about the 2-term agenda. All of us sitting here, we are here, either we have been elected or we have an appointment. And that appointment has come from someone, the head of state, who is elected on a vote to be the head of state. Whatever or however much we bring to that basket probably is the much that we will be given. So when we go out there, Kingi, myself, Moha, probably the people that sit in high level, and Mvuria, and the other members, we are there courtesy of the president. We could be more. And that's what I want to see, more people being appointed. But the question is, what are we bringing to the table? I saw the slogan for the Women's Day. It was give and gain. Give to gain. I saw that and I was like, all right, so what does this mean? But then my interpretation, give and Give to gain. Give to gain. Those who give, gain. If you don't give, you don't gain. And that is politics. We choose to give our votes, we shall do what? We will gain. We choose not to give, we will not gain. So that sums up what I want to say. That as we move forward to 2027, William Samoei Ruto, our presidential candidate, needs to gain from us the most so that he's able to give us. We need to give him the most so that we are able to gain as a region. Now, if you look at that arithmetic that I'm giving, the 3 points I have given you, you have no reason not to be a two-term person. You have no reason not to be a two-term person. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we go out there, Ruto akipata kiti cha urais, sisi sote hapa tutafaidika. My friend, if this William Ruto does not make it, all of us tumesambaratika. Na huo ndio ukweli. Ama? Si huo ndio ukweli? So you have a duty, yourself, at a personal level, wherever you are in your church, you are in your mosque, you are in your club, you are playing your golf, you are talking in the village, unakula kwa kibanda. What we need to say is William Ruto to term. And the pieces have given a reason. The PSs have given us a reason. The question that I want to say, and the thing that I want to say, 2027 to 2032 is our moment as a coast region. It is our moment. I have seen the Rironi, I have seen many other things, but we have many things that we need to be done. This country also needs to have, when you draw the map of Kenya, and you dot the projects of William Ruto, this term, 2027, 2022, we will be there, God willing. And we will ensure we have more projects that develop this area to recoup the years that we have lost as a region. With William Ruto, it is possible. For me, I'm a two-term member. Wewe je? Wewe je? Asante sana Omar Hassan.
Very well put. I saw PS Mwadime was very excited with that slogan, give to gain. He totally misinterpreted it. It's the same misinterpretation he had when he was made PS Labor. Akanambia kwani mimi sasa nitakuwa nafungua watu? Nikamwambia hii ni ya kazi. Si ya kujifungua. So anyway, now let us welcome our deputy party leader for a few minutes. Give to gain.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Na ndugu zetu wa Kristo, Bwana asifiwe. Mwanzo nataka kumpongeza Mheshimiwa Salim Mvurya na timu ile ambayo imeandaa kongamano hili. Hili ni kongamano muhimu sana. Na mimi ninaamini kwa hapa, I believe we are preaching to the converted. Kwa hapa sisi sote ni watu wa UDA. Ama mnasemaje? UDA. UDA. Rais Ruto. Unajua hao wengine walikuwa waoga. Sisi ni wanasiasa. Wengine kidogo wako kwa serikali. Na sisi tutaongea parwanja wazi. Kwanza, hii maneno iko madiscussion inaendelea, na nimefurahia vile Mheshimiwa Owen Baya alivyoongea. Hii mambo ya zoning, hiyo hatutakubali. Mambo ya zoning hakuna. Manake watu wasema sisi tuko hapa ni kwetu. Sasa kama tuko tayari, wacha tupambane huko. Alafu mbeleni tufanye mazungumzo. Kwa hivyo kama region ikiwa sahihi, tayari tumesikia kuwa Pwani wengi wetu walikuwa si wa UDA. Sasa ikifanywa zoning, hii maneno Wenbaya ametuambia itaweza kufanyika. Kwa hivyo kama msimamo tunasema sisi tunataka wanaume tupambane na wanawake kule debeni. Hapo ndo tutajua nani ni nani. Kwa hivyo hii maneno ya zoning, Bwana Mheshimiwa Owen Baya na waheshimiwa wote walioko hapa, na ninajua kesho kuna mkutano mkubwa huko, hata mimi nitakuwa huko, na hii maneno yakiongewa mambo ya zoning, na sisi tutatoa zile hisia zetu kuhusu mambo ya zoning. Na mimi niseme pia, kusema ukweli, ma-PS wetu, you have done justice hii kutuletea, na naamini sote tumeelewa yale mambo mengi ambayo serikali ya Mheshimiwa Daktari William Samoei Ruto imetimiza. Sisi tu kule Lamu, na nimwambie Mheshimiwa PS Dagar na Rueda yuko hapa, ile barabara mmoja tutaka ni ile ya kuconnect kutoka Hindi mpaka kule Kiunga, kwa sababu hiyo ni barabara muhimu kwa uchumi wa watu wetu. Lakini siko hapa tu kuongea habari ya Lamu. Mimi nasema tu, after this what is next? Na wetu, please open a WhatsApp group ya hawa wote hao 106 ili tuweze kukiwa na function, na serikali ni yetu. Hii mimi huwa ninaona ajabu, sisi tayari tuko kwa serikali, alafu watu watuambie tutoke nje kutafuta serikali. Hiyo yaingilia akilini. Kwa hivyo sisi tuko ndani ya serikali. Hii maneno watu wengine wanaongea, hii mambo ya kingpin yamepitikiwa na wakati. Hakuna kingpin. Kila mtu ana maeneo yake, kila mtu ni kiongozi na kila mtu ana haki. Kwa hivyo sisi msimamo wetu, tunamuunga rais wetu. Tunajua, na Mungu akipenda, na magharibi hii ya Ramadhani, Mungu akipenda, ushindi ni wetu. 2027 ni UDA. Na pia sisi sote ni jukumu letu kusimama na rais wetu. Ni jukumu letu kuelezea sera za serikali. Ni jukumu letu kuwafahamisha wananchi yale mambo mengi ambayo serikali yetu imefanya. Na ninaamini sisi sote hapa, ikiwa tutafanya kazi pamoja, manake saa yote tunaambiwa umoja ni nguvu. Nao sisi ndio tuko kwa serikali, na hakuna mtu atakwenda mahali atuletee ubabe wake pale. Ikiwa ni ubabe, na sisi pia ama tuna hofu, si serikali ni yetu, rais si ni wetu. Honestly, kutoka uhuru, we have never had it so good, na tutakuwa ni wapumbavu kuacha hii nafasi. Watu wote wanaipigania, na sisi ni jukumu. Mwanzo tu kwa Pwani, Secretary General ni mtoto wetu hasa wa UDA, ama mkufurahia hiyo, na Deputy Party Leader simi pia ni wenu, na tutahakikisha kuwa polling zifanyike kwa usawa na uhaki. Hakutakuwa na mapendeleo. Kwa hivyo kila mtu ajipange kuhakikisha kuwa ameweka mikakati yake vizuri ili apate kuchaguliwa. Mimi najua time ya magharibi imefika karibu, lakini nataka kuwashukuru wale wote walioandaa mkutano huu. Nataka kuwashukuru nyinyi nyote mliofika hapa, maambassador, waheshimiwa, board members, chairman, na nyote. Tushikane. Hii election is ours to lose if we want. Lakini vile mambo inaenda, Mungu akipenda, 2027 mimi naamini Rais Ruto atashinda with over 3 million votes margin, Mungu akipenda. Na hii Pwani tutashikana na tutatembea pamoja. All the constituencies za Pwani tutakwenda sote, na hii ndio nataka WhatsApp group ifomiwe, ikiwa tuko mahali tunajulishwa, na sote tuwe pale tupigie debe serikali yetu na rais wetu. Nikimalizia, Rais Ruto, na hapa mwasemaje, tuwe na zoning ama hakuna zoning? Mwataka zoning? Hakuna. Basi hiyo ni ujumbe tutamfikishia pia rais, kumwambia watu wa Pwani hii maneno ya zoning hatukubaliani nayo. Asanteni sana na Mungu atubariki.
Asante sana. By the way, there is a booklet produced by the party, written delivering the plan. Even when you go to see President Ruto, that's the book he will give you. It's also very updated in terms of the content in there. We have an extra 10 minutes, and we have been joined by so many people. I've seen Manamaka Mabruki, former PS, who's now a commissioner in the Public Service Commission. I have seen Speaker Tanariva has joined us. I've seen many other chairmen have joined us, other board members. As I said, we'll all introduce ourselves when we have our little meal, as we'll take the microphone round. Sasa, to close this session, before we bring the other session later, allow me to also allow one of our senators, one of the senior-most members of this congregation, Denson Buya Mungatana, aka Mlamamba, aje azungumze moja ama mawili for the next 7 to 8 minutes before the adhan.
Asante sana Bwana SG kwa kunipa hii nafasi. Mheshimiwa Waziri, Mheshimiwa Deputy Party Leader, Mheshimiwa Majority, I just had 2 points I wanted to make. Sisi hapa tumeongea tukisema sababu ambazo ni za ukweli za kumsupport William Ruto, lakini mimi nilikuwa nataka kusema sababu selfish, kwa sababu kila siasa lazima tuwe tunavutia upande wetu. Ni kwa sababu gani lazima tukae kwa hii chama cha UDA? Mimi nimefanya siasa kwa muda sasa, na ningependa kusema hivi: hapa Pwani ni lazima tukae kwa chama kikubwa, ndugu zangu. Chama kikubwa, kwa sababu tuache hii siasa ya 2027. Tuangalie siasa ya miaka ijayo. Miaka ijayo, the only reasonable chance ya mtu wa kabila ndogo kama chairman wetu, kama chairman wa hii kamati, Mheshimiwa Mvurya kuwa rais, ni kupitia chama kikubwa. Mdigo, Mswahili, Mpokomo, Mugiriama kuja kuwa rais, it's impossible under any other arrangement kushinda kuwa katika chama kikubwa. Saa hii tuko na nafasi kubwa pale kwa Senate. Speaker wa Senate saa hii ameingia kwa sababu ya arrangement ya kuwa ndani ya chama kikubwa. Speaker Kingi kabila yake ni kubwa kwa hapa Pwani, lakini ukiangalia across Kenya haifiki kwamba angepata ile kiti. Vile viti kawaida vinachukuliwa na zile kabila 5 kubwa hapa Kenya. Lakini tukikaa katika makabila haya madogo na tuingie katika nafasi hizi kubwa only through arrangement of a big political party. So tukae ndani. I am urging you for the future tufanye investment sahihi. Ukiangalia upande kule kwetu Senate tena, Stewart Madzayo ndio kiongozi wa wabunge wachache, minority leader. hangepata ile. It's not possible kama angekuwa hayuko kwa chama kikubwa wakati huo. Lakini sasa, if we are looking beyond this 2027, for us to have a position, a reasonable chance at the presidency, nawaambia ndugu zangu, we must die, we must fight, we must get a position katika hii chama chetu cha UDA. Wajua tulienda na Secretary General sehemu inaitwa Beijing, na walituambia you cannot, president yule sahihi ambaye yuko Xi Jinping ametoka sehemu ambayo haingekuwa na chance ya yeye kupanda paka afike pale alipofika, lakini because of party structures ameenda pale alipo. Hapa jirani zetu ukiangalia President Julius Nyerere, yeye alitoka kwa kabila linaitwa Zanaki, kabila ndogo, lakini kwa sababu ni CCM alipata nafasi. President Ali Hassan Mwinyi na president huyu wa sasa Mama Suluhu, wote ni Waswahili kutoka Shiraz, a very small tribe, lakini walipata nafasi kwa sababu they are in a big political party. Benjamin Mkapa, Makonde, ambao ni kidogo Tanzania, walipata nafasi. Mheshimiwa Jakaya Kikwete, kwao ni Mkwere, ambao yule ambaye alikuja nafasi kubwa, kabila kubwa peke yake ni Mheshimiwa Magufuli ambaye ni Msukuma. But the rest of the other presidents have been from small parties. So I want us to believe that one day Coast will produce a president, but through a big political party. Mimi nawaomba jamaa, we stay together. Hata hizi elections ambazo zinakuja tujipange. Kama tutamshikilia huyu Mheshimiwa Hassan, let us speak as a region. Tusiwe na division. Let us speak as a region. Tukisema tumemaliza kura and we want 3 cabinet secretaries, let us speak as a region. Tusiwe na mgawanyiko katika mambo yetu. Mwisho, final point, nataka kusema hivi. Mimi siku hizi naitwa Danson Buya Mngatana, lakini ni Dr. Danson Buya Mngata. So we can intellectualize some things. Wajua hapa kuna legislative, serikali inaundwa na mambo matatu: judicial power, legislative power and executive power. Judicial power hatuwezi kuongea kwa sababu hiyo is not our business to appoint it. It's through the Judicial Service Commission. Executive power ni ya president. Akichaguliwa yeye kama alivyotuchagua hapa wengine, he appoints the executive power. Legislative power inachaguliwa na wananchi. Sisi hatuwezi kuwaambia wananchi hapa mtapiga kura, region hii mtapiga chama hichi, region hii mtapiga chama hichi. It is wrong in the principle of government kusimama na kusema ati region hii itakuwa divided iwe ni pande moja, because it does not make sense. Sisi hatuna power ya kudecide kwa niaba ya wananchi. Legislative authority inatoka kwa wananchi wenyewe. Tuwapatie nafasi wachague wale wananchi wenyewe. I'm saying this kwa sababu we want to make it very clear as Coast Region. We shall not accept any other arrangement. We do not want anything called zoning. Zoning is gone. Wacheni wananchi waamue wenyewe. Sisi tunajenga chama jameni. Haiwezekani. Yani if we are brothers, we are sisters, you belong to other political parties that are friendly to us, njoni msimame. Njoni msimame. Mimi nilichaguliwa peke yangu last election kama senator UDA. ODM walisimama, vyama vingine walisimama, kila chama kilisimama Tana River. Hatukupigana, lakini watu walichagua UDA kwa senator. Gavana Achani ndiye peke yake alichaguliwa kwa upande wa magavana upande wa UDA. Tulisimama, wengi walisimama na vyama vingine. Hatukupigana. Kwa hivyo hile power ambayo inatoka kwa wananchi jameni, katika hizi negotiation, tusijaribu sisi wajumbe tuseme ati huyu pande hii Kilifi kuchaguliwe chama hichi, Mombasa kuchaguliwe chama hichi, Tana River kuchaguliwe Wewe ni nani ambaye utamwambia mwananchi achague na chama gani? Hiyo, this one is not non-negotiable. Hata kama tuongee mambo yote, manake ile executive power hiye ni appointed, haina shida. Hata tunaweza kubaliana kabla 30%, 40% nini, it's appointed. Lakini legislative power hiyo ni wananchi wanachagua wenyewe, and it is wrong for us kusema ati sisi wabunge ama sijui kamati fulani ati sisi sasa ndio tunawachagulia wananchi. Wrong. There is no zoning. Tunasema no zoning. Kama coast tunasema no zoning. Alafu tunasema hivi, negotiation iwe pande mbili. Kuna negotiation ya executive power, lakini kuna sehemu kama Nairobi pengine watu wanaweza kusema hapa tukiweka watu wawili tunaweza kukosa. Sasa huko ni Nairobi ama sivyo? Ni Nairobi. Hapa pwani tunasema there is no zoning. Hapa pwani tunasema there is no zoning. Na kama watu watasimama hakuna shida. Sisi tuwapenda, njoni bwana, hakuna shida. Come baby, come. Hakuna shida. Simama Kilifi, Lamu, Mombasa, Taita Taveta, stand anywhere. We have no problem with that. Lakini kusema ati hapa Mombasa sasa governor awe sijui kutoka wapi, mjumbe awe kutoka wapi, that is, we don't have that power kwa legislative power. Legislative arrangement hakuna. Hiyo ni direct appointment ya wananchi. Government tunaweza kuwaingiza anywhere because that is the president's prerogative, ama sivyo? Akisema hapa kutakuwa mawaziri wawili, leteni wawili, leteni watatu, that is appointed power. Lakini ya wananchi there is no zoning. Asante sana. Thank you very much.
Mwelewa kwa nini kabla kula tunampa Mungatana azungumze. Sasa nyote hamuna njaa. But we are very grateful. Wajua Mungatana, we will break now. Lakini wale watu Mvuria wanaoenda na hizi kasumba for too long walichezea wenzao hapa. Lakini wamesahau circumstances have changed. Wale waliokuwa zamani sio wale walioko tena. Wakitushinda hapa kwa ajili ilikuwa wamezuia makoti ya mtu fulani. Wakiweka watu wanavyotaka kiholela, choir singers, choir masters, watu tu kuwaimbia manyimbo na kuwahadaa. Lakini hii ngalie, si hatukuja hapa mkutano tu wa siasa, tumekuja seminar. That's UDA, because we believe in the power of information. We believe in informed decision and informed choices. Lakini safari hii ati wajua wewe sijui kura mbili sisi tukushinda, hizo ni zile zilizopita. We are not the same people that were. This time utabahatika wewe mwenyewe pia ukisurvive. So don't fool with us. Don't fool people anymore. Njoo na heshima tukae kwa meza moja. Sisi hapa as UDA, the presidency is inseparable kama Kingi alivyosema. Our deputy president kama UDA is well known ni Professor Kithure Kindiki. Unaanza kuleta siasa sijui mimi sijui niwekwe 2027 alafu siku moja tutakuwa na picha yangu. Wacha niachie hapo maghrib. Mungu atubariki. Let's have a maghrib. Yaadhiniwe. Kushadhiniwa. Haya, nani azadhini? Mwaguya. Mwaguya kwa saidi yako ndio upige ile. Wajua Mwaguya nilikuwa nayo university. Alikuwa akiadhini kweli bwana. 2 minutes hapo zishafika bwana. Haikushadhiniwa. Ama